Stop chasing. It's Marcel, aka Honey Bunny Sunny, and you know I'm on a mission to make you some money. Listen, today I have an incredibly good video for you. Okay, this video is going to break down something in a book that we're going to stay on for a while, Trading in the Zone, that is really going to open your eyes to how you've possibly been trading and what you can do to fix this one thing. Okay, stay tuned to the end because you're going to want to hear all of it. All right, if you're just now seeing my face, right, your first time on Marcel Profits, welcome. All right, hit that subscribe button to make sure that you don't miss a single video going forward, because I'm telling you, in 2026 we have a year packed with value. Right, we're coming with a totally different energy. All right, now that that's out the way, let's get into it. So today's book is yesterday's book. It's Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It is a classic amongst traders, not because it goes into the technicals, but because it explores one of the most important parts of trading, which is the psychological state that you must be in to trade effectively. All right, so just like in all these videos, right, I'm going to be going through lessons that I learned from the greats, right? You can have a mentor through a book. Right, you can get some of the greatest insight from somebody that you've never met before if you just kind of sit with it, live with it, and let the truth just kind of seep in. All right, so we're going to jump into it. This is coming from chapter 5. It's called The Dynamic of Perception, and it's actually found on the very first page of that chapter. Okay, so I'm going to read it out loud, and then I'm just going to digest it and give you my thoughts on it and how you can start to implement this in your life and your trading. One of the primary objectives of this book is to teach you how to take the threat of pain out of the market information. All right, the market doesn't generate happy or painful information. It may seem as if the market is causing you to feel that way at any given moment, but that's not the case. It's your own mental framework that determines how you perceive the information, how you feel, and as a result, whether or not you are in the most conducive state of mind to spontaneously enter the flow and take advantage of whatever the market is offering. Professionals don't perceive anything about the markets as painful. Therefore, no threat exists for them. If there's no threat, there's nothing to defend against. As a result, there isn't any reason for their conscious or subconscious defense mechanisms to kick in, right? That's why professionals can see and do things that mystify everyone else. They're in a flow because they're perceiving an endless stream of opportunities. And when they're not in the flow, the very best of the best can recognize that fact and then compensate by either scaling back or not trading at all. All right. This is really key. Now, there's a couple of videos that I made that speak to a portion of this, and I've also talked about this in depth in the past as well. But you got to understand when is the best time to trade, right? Sometimes there are market conditions that dictate that, and sometimes your own inner world or psychology dictates that. The inner world should be the supreme, right? That should be the number one indicator as to whether or not you're going to take a trade or not. If your mental is off, don't trade, right? If the market is consolidating and you can't find anything, don't trade. But even if the market is good and your mental is off, you still do not trade, okay? I talked about this in my positive addiction video, where I talk about this flow state that you can enter after having gone through repetitions and been able to recognize different patterns. There's something about breaking through like a consistent amount of reps that gives you an extreme pattern recognition, especially when you're calm and relaxed, right? So when you're practicing, right, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you understand that this is more of an opportunity instead of something that could go wrong. I'm not saying completely rule it out and foolishly not have a stop loss in mind, but understand that since your risk has been identified, since you know the points in which you are going to get in and out, there should be no threat at all. There should be no pain. There should be nothing that makes you feel like, because you've already identified it and accepted it. Trading should allow you to be calm and in a flow state, right? Because what happens is sometimes when you're in your trade, especially your swing trade, you may start to learn some things about the trade while you're in it. You may have had a plan to just take profit at 20%, but you may be in a 30-day swing and notice that there are certain levels that this thing is breaking, and there's certain volume and flow that's coming into the market. When you're in a calm and flow state, you'll be able to take advantage of those types of opportunities without, being too emotional about it, right? And the same to the downside. You'll know, like, okay, like it's just time to get out. And there's nothing wrong with that. This was just a time that the trade, went wrong, right? It's really important. This is a really, 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 really fire book, y'all. If y'all have not read Trading in the Zone, it is a must read for any trader. All right. Psychology is the biggest, the same way that nutrition is the larger part of getting in shape, and working out is like another part of it, but not the biggest part. That's what psychology is to trading, right? So the technical aspect of trading is like working out, but the psychology part of trading is like nutrition. Okay. You can't outwork bad psychology. You can't, your skill set cannot supersede a poor mental state, bad decision, bad judgment, right? Poor intuition. All of these things are going to contribute to you being able to be successful, right? The crazy part about trading is that sometimes it can take you a very long time to realize that something that you've picked up is a bad habit or a bad state. Because of how sophisticated the market is, it can reward your mistakes. It can reward your bad habits for a period of time. But at some point, you will be humbled and corrected. And then you'll be humbled and corrected. And then you'll find yourself in a pattern of that, and realize like, oh man, like from the very beginning, I didn't set these foundational things right in my system, right? Your psychology being the biggest part of your system. So make sure you're taking care of your mind, right? Make sure you're moving your body, because the mind is a part of the body. So we need that to be healthy, and make sure that you are tapping in. Okay. I want to see y'all win so big in 2026. Everything that you guys mentioned in the group about what you want to acquire, and the things that you want to do for your family, I see this year being a really big year for that for some, and a foundational year to eventually do that for others. All right. All you got to do is lock in, right? Continue to watch these videos, continue to study, continue to show up, and I'm going to continue to show up for you every single day. Okay. I appreciate y'all, man. Listen, it's been a very, very, very just eye-opening year in so many ways, right? When we first started doing the Prosperity Collective, when I first started YouTube, I didn't even know that I was going to get this kind of love. I didn't know that you guys were going to be showing up in this way. It wasn't something that I pictured, and I didn't picture it in the exact way. But now we got people in the group that I'm just, man, I just like, I see y'all every day. I'm just like, man, okay, this is turning into something real. This is not just some random group online. This is a real community. We want to continue to build upon that. All right. You're a part of the community. I'm a part of the community. So we both have an obligation to continue developing ourselves, so that we continue to expand the impact of the community, right? The better we are as individuals, the bigger the light shines in that community, right? The more that we grow as a collective. All right. It's always love over here. Remember, invest smart, live free. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.